Happy Monday to everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It's good to see everyone, and I'm so excited right now. Welcome back to Rumbi Uncensored, and I just want to say if it's your first time to come across this channel, please do not forget to subscribe and also ring the bell so that every time I'm live or I'm dropping a video, you'll be the first person to be notified. And to my regulars, I want to say shout out. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I am super cool, and happy Monday to everyone. Okay, here we are again, back with SADC. I swear. Oh my God, it's good to see everyone. What we're going to do right now is we're going to quickly just visit our trending stories. Very important. This morning, I actually realized that Chamisa was trending. You know, who else can trend in Zimbabwe except in Chamisa? Somebody tweeted a very interesting tweet. Actually, that was Zikila Zivo. Let's just take a look. When he said, no one is as famous as Nelson Chamisa in Zimbabwe. No one. Actually, no one. He said Chamisa is not popular more than Econet, Net1, EcoCash, Mukuru, Zek, Kambucha, even Mutoriro or Mbanje is not popular than this guy. Every day, everywhere they talk about him in government offices, X, which is a Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Misangano, Mumabazi, Zimba, Yangova Chamisa. Good to see everyone. Because I'm going to ask you to make sure that you like the live as we move along. We need to push the algorithm and also comment. I want to hear your own personal opinions. Chamisa is literally the man that is trending in Zimbabwe currently. Quite interesting to watch actually, but I'm super excited. Good to see everyone. Happy Monday. Okay, you know, Nelson Chamisa himself tweeted such a strong tweet this morning. I'm going to tell you, people went like, hey, daddy is back. You know? He's like the father of Zimbabwe. He said, hate is not politics. Difference is enmity is not, So he said, hate is not politics. Difference is, enmity is not politics. Fair competition is. Happy and blessed Monday. Good to see everyone. And can I tell you, comments went like, wow, what's happening? You know. But I'm going to tell you, ZANU-PF have unleashed ghost accounts. Can I tell you, if you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, Twitter, please, some of the people don't respond. They are definitely on a mission. They have been employed to just bastardize anyone who speaks hope is in trouble. I also received a thread this morning that I won't be able to reach the end of next year. Then I said, you are talking to the wrong person. Oh my God, I was raised to declare, I was raised to defend my destiny. I'll be here until 100 years. Yeah, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. I was called for a purpose and I haven't studied yet. So, sir, you're wrong. Or ma'am, if you're the one that sent such a tweet, try to threaten me, you are dealing with the wrong person. My name is Rumbi and we fear Foko. Remember? We fear Foko right here. And in the words of Ostalosi, we fear absolutely Foko. Quite interesting. So he also said, focus on the chef who is cooking the meal, not the waiter who is merely serving it. We focus on the owner of the restaurant. So people were saying, what are you saying about Songezo Shamang? We was like, shut up, yo, relax. Let's look and focus on the owner of the restaurant. Who sent Songezo is a person that we are focusing on. The rest of the staff, we're not interested. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with Songezo. More revelation definitely coming out about this imposter. You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. I didn't know that we actually have mentally ill people who masquerading as leaders in 2023. Quite disappointing. Business of the day. I want to ask you a question that I did last time and I repeated this morning. What do you prefer? Do you prefer fresh poll, which is credible, fair in 2023 or 2024, or you prefer government of national unity, or you rather consider transitional government? Those are the three options on the table. People are saying there are the three options on the table. You hear more as we get along this morning actually. Yeah. Okay, I've posed a question. Now, Sevia Kasugwire, he said no amount of illegality is worse than a coup. Je must just say it's no drama. If you take over power using force, why should you be expected to respect any other legislation? Recourse, imprisonment without trial, ETR, improper counting of votes, and all, it's nothing compared to a coup. Okay, so if you come through the back door, you know, I'm an exalter of principles. I've said to people, and there are so many men and women out here. Okay, let me just drink some water before I actually drop this. transitional government. Some must say this is the way because we know we are at least initiating change of government. Let's have some water. All right. So, it's nothing compared to the coup. No amount of illegality is worse than a coup. It's no drama. If you take over power using force, what should you be expected to respect? Any other legislation, recourse, imprisonment without trial, etc., improper counting of votes, and or it's nothing compared to a coup. I'm a firm believer that if you start wrong, definitely, if you start wrong, nothing, absolutely nothing will work. I've always said to my girls whom I love, and I'm saying this as a single girl, you are my bodies. If you decide to cut corners while you get in love with a man, let me tell you, you're going to be cut along the way. You don't cut corners in life, we'll follow the process. So we are saying no cutting corners. But some people decided to get their positions through back doors. So he's referring to the coup. That's Xavier Kasukune saying, if a person managed to wiggle themselves to the top, what do you expect? There was no proper strategies or no proper ways of doing things in the country. The constitution was muted. What do you expect from a person like that? It's Xavier Kasukure will say so. And I keep repeating, principles reign supreme. I've said to people, do it well, no matter how you start. Don't worry about the journey. God will be in control. The end, He knows exactly where you're going with your destination. Very, very important this morning. We're going to play quickly. Ostalos is saying, hey, we want free, fair, and credible election. He kept on saying we want free, fair, and credible election. And we repeat, free, fair, and credible election. That's Citizen Coalition for Change. They're adamant on their free poll. So now, ZANU-PF, one of their supporters, his name is Gachange, or Tinotenda Gacha. You know, the things with ZANU-PF people, they have got all types of names. So you don't know which one is which. You know, they use Ghost Squad a lot. So unfortunately, I'm confused. But he is calling himself Gachange. He said, can someone advise Abednego Mwempe, Siazia and his blind followers that SADC News has no obligation to determine the future of Zimbabwe? We respect SADC as an organization that we belong to, but for somebody to think SADC has authority over a sovereign nation like Zimbabwe is daydreaming. Now, the question I'm going to drop on you, sir, on you. So why did you even find yourself in that space? Why did you allow the observers to come into Zimbabwe to observe your poll if you knew that SADC wasn't important? Stop coming and spread propaganda. SADC is very, very important. I know some people are still holding on to the past based on the bodies that were manipulating their systems. Remember the story of Thabo Mbeki when he was sent into Zimbabwe in 2008 after the violence broke out. He went in and he had dinner with his buddies and then flew out of Zimbabwe. And then just to organize this government of national unity, where did it take us to? Nowhere. So according to what I've heard, and you hear more details as we move along, that SADC had to look at the resume of Zimbabwe as far as elections were concerned. So people that came to Zimbabwe, they were much aware that there's always been anomaly, there's always been a disputed election in the country. So when they come in there, their eyes were wide open, getting to see if everything was being done according to the book. So, sir, don't try to send wrong message to people. Now, we're going to take a listen to a man that was introduced. He's actually, well, before it was a ZANU-PF dude, actually, who was interviewed by Simba Chikanza. He said quite a very, very strong point right there regarding this upcoming meeting for Zimbabwe and 3 members of state, which is the Namibia, Mozambique, and it's Namibia, Mozambique, and which was the third one? Namibia, Mozambique. Holy Ghost, help me, please. I don't know how to get here, but I'll tell you as we move along. 3 members of state. You also hear in the message. Please take a listen.
Our politics at Fanukushika to that level, yoku tiza kawan no kusa feel very comfortable. Kanamuri ma comrades mafana ngemchita chintu chimwe.
In Tanzania, thank you, Joanne. In Tanzania, thank you.
Politics they don't the vengeance, you know, and the tit for tat. But my scenarios are ipo. Comrade Yoga Mabunu, na comrade I think this one I'm going to conversation bana. They one party state, that's the first one. The second one they could tichawa nukutambudzika kutadza kuzobvisa zviri democratic President Mnangagwa from ZANU-PF to from the state. Mashoko aya munofanira kugara muchiabata, munofanira kutarisa nekudzidza how President Mnangagwa is structuring his political base. Is structuring from the Central Intelligence, is structuring from the police, is structuring from the army. He have surrounded himself nevanhu vanomudefender, vane one objective, one agenda. So that's another area yekuti vanhu vazhinji vasi kutarisa that angle, vari kutarisa angle yekuti ndisu tiri kutonga. Kana uri munhu ane njere dzakapinza, kana munhu ari kuita zvematongerwo enyika, ari muruling party, nyatsofungisisa 1 2 3 katatu kuti there's a possibility yekuchinjika kwezvinhu. Zvinhu zvinogona kuchinja in a split of a second.
Agreed.
Follow why
zvinhu
zviri practical, zviri real zviri kuitika mupolitics dzedu. SADC haina simba yekurivhesa elections emuZimbabwe, but kune mitemo zvakare yekuti isu semamember states pane zvatinofanira kunge tichiita. Now my elections edu ane report, a very damning report, yaka-adoptiwa musi wa4. Isusu tinogona vanhu vanogona kutaura propaganda, vachifamba vachitaura propaganda, but propaganda pane payachaguma, because now rega ndikutaurire comrade nyoka yemabhunu. Musi weMonday kune 3 heads of state, one from Tanzania, one from Mozambique, one from Namibia, vari kuuya kuzoita negotiate na President Mnangagwa na Nelson Chamisa nema-stakeholders direction inofanira kunge ichizoitwa nenyika, right? Kuti because nzwisisai kuti panogamuchirwa a damning report ine zvinhu zvakawanda zvatakatadza kuita pama-elections edu, zvonzi neSADC neTroika tazvigamuchira. So it simply means kuti pane ma-possibilities achaforsa President Mnangagwa to the negotiating table. One said vachabvuma, because inini ndoda kukuudzai zvinhu zviri kuitika zvechokwadi. President Mnangagwa ana Patrick Chinamasa na Obed Mpofu, right? Vanhu vaya varume pane proposal yegovernment of national unity yakapiwa Chamisa akaramba akati handisi kuda government of national unity.
We don't want it either. Right. Yeah, we don't want it either.
President mbavataura timu redu rezanu, varanotaura na South African president kuti please persuade Chamisa tiite government of national unity. Chamisa akanga ari kuno South Africa last week, akataura na President Ramaphosa. Zvadero kuSADC kwakaendwa neproposal, ndakutaura izvo zvikuitika, kwaendwa neproposal yegovernment of national unity. So pane maconditions akapuwa neSADC. SADC yakati chinhu chokutanga chamunofanira kuita kuZimbabwe, since mavatawirirana panapa kuti zvinhu zvakaitiwa hazvina kufamba namazvo kuda kwezvikonzero zvakati. Ripoti yakanyorwa yakanyorwa naMumba. Report here haina kunyorwa naMumba. It's a report yakanyorwa nema constitutional experts. It's a report yakanyorwa nema lawyers komiti yevanhu vakauya yailidwa namumba, vanhu vakauya vari prepared nokunzwisisa masituations eZimbabwe because they look back kuma-disputed elections kubva 2000. Saka they came very prepared kuti maproblems ekuZimbabwe akuaffecta nyika dzedu dzakaita sana Zambia, South Africa, Mozambique, Namibia, kuti nyika dzedu dzakatekeshera kuti when a government budgets for 5 people for its own citizens, inopedzisira yakuaccommodate vanhu vasiri part and parcel of their budget, vasiri taxpayers of that country, vanenge vakustraina their health system, vanenge vakustraina sewer system chaichai inenge community ufana kugara vanhu 10 kana 100 kana 500 inenge kugara vanhu 20,000. Saka masuwa avo anenge achiputika. Saka they've done research kuti no, situation ekuZimbabwe yakuda kuti tichiisa pamusoro pamwe chete tiaddress in order for the people of Zimbabwe to be free and to be able to go back. We must address their politics, their political challenges, and chinhu chinongosimudzirwa ruoko kana chigunu ZANU-PF. Saka ndo chokwadi chatinofanira kugamuchira kuti no, ichi chokwadi icho varume chinofanira kunge chichitaurwa pakati pedu, not kuti chokwadi chokuti vanhu vanenge vachiresista vachiti no nepropaganda dzatinenge tichiitana namutsvango hadzibatsiri dzadzi zvinhu vanhu vakuziva chokwadi, especially nyaya dzesocial media. Vanhu vakuziva kuti taapakati zvinofamba so iko zvinoizwa opposition. Kana makaona interview yakaitwa president naRuben Maro, akata it's
premeditated.
It's an interview yakagara yakaitwa pre-planned already kuti iwewe uchanomira pakona, I will ask the president these questions, the president must respond. Saka propaganda idzo dzatichashandi manje because kwaane nyika right now chamisa kuti chamisa chimutuka mangwana ngatisazotizai zvakaita vamwe. Be very careful, be smart. Nowadays in politics, be very smart. Don't be retrogressive. Zvese kuti unongochitukana navanhu, uchirwisana navanhu, uchidididi, mangwana undoshape kupinda. That is why ndichingoita ndichingo associate hangu nana comrade nyuka yemabhunu because they are seasoned politicians. Vanoziva havachakandi matombo zvinoita vamwe wedu kuti usina kutarisa kuti zviri kufamba sei utokanda dombo. Hadzishandi politics idzodzo. Kwatava kuenda kuvarume from now, garai muri prepared kuti anytime government inogona kuannounce kuti no, we are negotiating for government of national unity. Vanhu vachatanga kukonzatiwa munhikirini mumusangano kuti no, ndo zvapo. Mark my words, tiri panapa.
Like we all insisting on the issue of transitional government. Here's the thing, I've got my small little notebook here, this one here. So funny enough, today actually says, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord of hosts. Jeremiah 29:11. God knows that the plans that he has for the country and for you and for me, for you and more, So God knows the plans. But I'm a person who says no to government of national unity. We've walked through that road before. It's not what I prefer. I prefer transitional government or fresh poll. Transitional government, when you're on our way to fresh poll, well, we want now to have a very, very solid foundation in the country where people respect the rule of law and also respect our democratic channels. There's no way of cutting corners. It's gone. The time of cutting corners, yakapera. You remember we covered the issue of the president when he landed actually, and he was walking out of the airport, and then Ruben Baru approached him. You remember how angry they were? And the allegations that they did not leave that side, wow. They just stormed out. These were allegations that were dropped by Neva Masorase on Cable's, it's Cable's news network here. You can also check out with them on Twitter. The issue of government of national unity, Zimbabwe do not want to hear, because for me, you can't mix light and darkness. Honestly, the systems that ZANU-PF is using as a political party, they are very brutal. They are toxic. They are evil, and mixing them, and it's not going to work. We are sitting today with a parliament where people are literally divided in the parliament because they don't see eye to eye. They don't see, through the same lenses in terms of principles. So that is it's not going to work. I definitely consider transitional government, and also that can lead us to have a fresh poll. That's for me. For me, we need to restart. Each and every man and women must understand that we have a rule of law and we have rules that works. Our constitution must work for everyone. If you're wrong, notwithstanding which political party you fall under, you're still going to be held accountable. This is the Zimbabwe that we want. But we know we're in a season of VNA. People are so much entitled. You remember I did a video where I said ZANU-PF does not have title deeds to Zimbabwe. It must be known by everyone across the spectrum. ZANU-PF does not have title deeds to Zimbabwe. It's simply a political party. They are simply Zimbabweans like you and me. They are our brothers and our sisters like you and me who believe in certain principles that we also do not believe. So why would they think they own Zimbabwe? No, they do not. As a matter of fact, they don't. So we must all understand that the age of Mene has to be assassinated by all means. But now, I had to get hold of this man. I call this man, he's a wisdom bank. Brighton Matebuka. Please go in. You can follow him on Twitter. He said the age of Mene Zimbabwean politics redefined. This age that we are in. Whom are they referring to? It's just a group of elites. The minute, they're the ones that control, they pull the strings. All these songs or drama you're seeing, no, they are the ones behind it. Yes, they are behind it. They're deceivers. Now I always say that deception, they deceive people. Deception, but embedded within deception, a blinding agent. They use people, they manipulate people, they're just looting. You won't even see them. They're there behind the elites. You won't see them. They don't beat anyone. Their children are overseas and having education. They're stuffing money overseas. What they do is they just send thugs to come and hurt you. You remember the guy that tried to stop Promise Mukwanans when they were having a presser, that guy. And you also saw him coming into parliament with Maureen Madenka. I think, is that, am I correct? Yeah, the member of parliament in Sunningdale. Do you remember what happened? People saw him and he was so filthy and dirty, and he had a shield that was written United States of America. And people were like, but you say it's sanctions and now you're wearing something written United States of America. Not only that, the guy looked filthy. And people are questioning, you guys are doing all these atrocities, all this evil. How come you are looking so dirty, but your masters are the ones that are looting everything in the country? They're looting everything in the country. But now we are looking, and let's get more into the age of Vene. Now, Matebuka said, many Zimbabweans are in denial. By the way, I'm going to have him as a guest soon. We are starting bringing guests and have conversations. So please look out for men and women of great minds. It's going to be fire right here. You don't want to miss. We are going to look deep really into the situation in Zimbabwe and see how we can share information. Matebuka is actually residing in the United Kingdom. He said many Zimbabweans are in denial about the arrival of the age of Vene. This applies to both those in the ruling party and the opposition movement. Vene is guiding the ideologies, transactional politics. They can work with anyone who submits to their rule. Did you hear that? They can work with anybody who submits to their rule. Their rule of law, constitutions, conventions are irrelevant. They apply to their rivals, opponents, not to them. So the constitution only applies to the opposition party, not to everyone in Zimbabwe. Only to opposition party. That's the only time they said the constitution says. But when they are wrong, the constitution doesn't work. It's muted. People are not saying no, but they have actually, captured almost many government institutions. We'll get more into that. So they apply their rivals and opponents, not to them. The law is what Vene says. If it's inconvenient, they either ignore or reinterpret it. If all fails, they make new ones. So that fails. If there's no law they can actually create. That's why you said they have a draconian law, or they've just wake up and says you are guilty, even when you're not. They create, a crime that you never committed, for you to be arrested. Because you open your mouth too much, they move around. They're the one that are sponsoring all the ghosts that you are seeing now on social media, that are be sending false information, always spreading propaganda, as if people are happy in Zimbabwe. And they know that, no, people are not happy, but they actually buy those people. I remember I spoke to one guy who said he's the one who gave them the idea of having ghost accounts on social media, because they were complaining that there seems to be so many people who are actually, allies of the opposition party. What can we do? Because we are overwhelmed. And he said, I gave them an idea that hire people and you can open an office for them where you pay them and give them data. They're actually in the offices as we speak, assigned to different people who are very much, vocal, and then they can rebut everything. Every time you speak, they rebut. They can cause confusion. They can create a lie. If you check right now on social media, there are 2 accounts opened in the name of Songezo Shavangu. And those 2 accounts that are open in the name of Songezo Shavangu, they are just spilling vile. You know why? That's what they're doing. You think it's Songezo? Do you think Songezo can afford to be writing that nonsense? No, it's the ghost accounts that were created by VNA. So this is the people's democratic preferences are not important. What is important is to control who counts, formally declares the winner, presides over complaints, arrests those who complain, sends those who complain to jail. VNA, the arrival of VNA. VNA are so special that they even get to choose who competes. They choose who can compete with them. You saw what happened prior to elections, that even Kasukure was blocked. They choose who can they content to be a president in the country, to be the leader in the country. Against them, who to allocate state resources. You saw Songezo recently opened an account in the name of Citizen Coalition for Change, because the funds now, instead of them being paid to Citizen Coalition for Change as a political party, no, it has to go to a party that is claiming, or to an account that is claiming to be for CCC. But Songezo Shavangu knows who are the handlers that they met, allegedly, they met in Harare. The account was opened in Borodale. But we know that Songezo Shavangu stays in Bulawayo. But the account was opened in Borodale. And allegations are, Songezo Shavangu was transported from Bulawayo to Harare, and he was booked at a lodge in Glenlawn. That's where he was staying. These allegations, all the information are on social media. Sisaya Ruhanya dropped the bombshell. He said it's going to be very interesting where we are going now, because when I think they are smart, as long as you're using a human being, information is always going to come out. Because remember, Zimbabweans are suffering. So they cannot keep on protecting people who keep them in poverty. So many are definitely vulnerable. So against them, and who to allocate such resources earmarked for successful contestants, so they can even create competition for their opponents, as if it's not hard enough to compete against them. If VNA don't like the outcome, they use proxies, their control of levers of state power, to change that outcome via recalls and command by elections until they get outcome that they want. You saw what happened yesterday in Gutu. They had 17 branded ZANU-PF cars to an election. Not only did they do that, so Citizen Coalition for Change and other contestants refused to sign for the outcome, because they said that election was rigged. Almost more than 100 people were actually helped to vote. Again, it's an edge for VNA. So they are not concerned with their subtitles, other diplomatic necessities. They like to project their power brazenly as a mark of unrivaled dominance over their subjects. They can mow you down in broad daylight. You saw what they do, abducting people. VNA. They can mow you down in broad daylight. So it doesn't and confuse VNA's opponents. They by their antics, they subconsciously fall into the same trap over and over again, and are then at the mercy of being repeatedly devoured by VNA. Like generations of heads of helpless, failing wildebeests attempting to cross the great Masai Mara River at the height of the migration, using the steep ends of the banks, only to end up between the jaws of the lying in wait cross. Some critics will say, if you have a constitution, structures, voters' roll, V11s, you present these to courts, you won't be devoured. You won't be devoured. After you are devoured, some will say, only if you had stayed without those, maybe you wouldn't have been devoured after all. People assuming that if you can have V11s, you can have structures, you can have constitution, you can have all the tactics in place, you can still win an election. No, man, they won't allow you. VNA will do anything in their power to make sure that will not happen. It's a season for VNA. Yet others will say, if we create another united smart creature, we won't be devoured. Others will also say, going into a river is great numbers to confront a crocs will hack it via the sheer weight of numbers. Or are in denial that the age of VNA is unlike an other. When it will finally dawn on them, it will be way too late. You see, crocs have been perfecting their art for millions of years. VNA is literally a group of people who have kept Zimbabweans at ransom. They do as they please. I personally, I would like to equate them with gangsterism. That's what gangsterism does. If you go to the Cape, there are gangsters that are known for actually scaring the masses. People have no peace because of gangs. That's exactly what's happening, instilling fear into people. Now they go to social media. If you say something, they're attacking you. They come in, they're rebutting. You can see the moment when Songezo started talking, Vene had all manner of people who were supporting Songezo. Now you ask your questions. How did you even know about this man? No research, but because it's a script. It's scripted. Vene have scripted it. They are the ones that are always support wrong. Anything that is wrong in the country, they say, no, it is right. It is right. Is that season for Vene that we're busy dealing with right now. Now we have an abduction alert. One of Citizen Coalition for Change. Moving on, this is Tapumane Masai, a senior citizen and a pastor who was abducted by suspected security agents, remains missing up to this point. The perpetrators used a car belonging to Scott Sakupanya, a member of ZANU-PF, who is mentioned in the documentary The God Mafia. You know, Scott, yes, who lost in Mavuku, and you also heard that was one of the other space that was also had, challenges of recalls. Now, after people started mourning on social media that, hey, how come from Blawayo you said it was an issue of Blawayo, but now you're seen in Harare, you're recalling, you're also seen in another side where you're recalling because you want to accommodate a ZANU-PF person. Immediately, they start sending all manner of recalls just to bring confusion and let you guys talk and talk. But the agenda is so you don't focus on this shame poll. Now, Mavuku, let's take a listen to what the Citizen Coalition for Change, our representation of Mavuku had to say. It's unbelievable. It's all the works of Vene. Vene are at work. Very much interesting. Very interesting. A season of Vene. Take a listen, please.
In another race that could be potentially bruising, he said he was confident he would floor Mayweather's friend in the second round.
ZANU-PF is all behind all this thing. I know the candidate whom I crushed in Mavugo is one of the God Mafia, and he's using his financial mercy to cause the by-election, even to fund this one. The courtesy, like what you see, you've seen recently. He's claiming he's the president, but he can't even raise the fund to register. So basically, I don't see anything. Like what I said, how do you feel? This moment to me is just funny. I have no comment over this moment because I've done what we've done on the 23rd, and we thought it's a closed chapter. And as a country, we believe that we need to move on in terms of development. Because like what I said earlier on, that Zimbabwe has now have a tendency of just remaining into election time and again, squandering national resources, funding by-elections, funding election, rather than to focus on national development. Because what we believe as CCC, we believe that after election, we've got 4 to 5 years for massive development, where we bring our minds together, we share in terms of ideas. But here comes the situation in Zimbabwe. Like, for example, I've been a councillor for 15 years. The ZANU-PF want to drive a narrative. They will then starve and try to cripple local authorities, so that the residents will then try to blame the CCC for non-delivery. But basically, the minister will be infringing like currently that Mguti, who was also infringing in terms of other local authority activities. So those are some of the challenges which we have.
Scott did not present himself. Instead, Harare Nomination Court Officer Fiona Kurima announced that Pedzai Sakupanya had also successfully filed his nomination papers.
As set out in Proclamation number 8 of 2023. Prior to the sitting of this court, a nomination paper was lodged by Sakupanya Udzai of ZANU-PF party for the Mavuku Tafara constituency.
That's the only reason why they keep you at ransom in poverty. The reason is so that they can do as they please. As long as they can have financial muscle, they can do as they please. Do you remember Lumumba complaining that Scott took his wife? Because of financial muscle. But I'm not feeling for Lumumba at all. Lumumba used to be with Ivene, supporting nonsense. But now, he's not tasting the bitterness of the medicine. Yeah. Now you can see he did not come to present himself, but surprisingly, they are calling that he's already accepted. These papers are already accepted. Now, the question that we need to ask the nomination court is, the dude didn't even come to the place. How did you receive his documents? How did you even authorize that he's going to commit? Money, dirty money. That's what dirty money does. It can buy anybody, any minute, any day. Dirty money. That's what it does. Is that age for Vene? Vene do as they please. They know that as long as we take our money out, then you're in trouble. The purpose of keeping it ransom is to make sure that you're poor, so that if I can tell you to do something for me, you do it, because you have no other means. I've always said to people, if you really want to check and be honest, most people that are into prostitution, especially girls, is they come from poor families. And that's the reason. It's a trade. They keep you in poverty so they can use you and abuse you. Most of the kids that are being taken from the University of Zimbabwe for weekends by all these old people, is what? Because of poverty. No child who's coming from a successful family can sell their bodies or sell themselves for cheap. But that's what happens. They keep you in poverty for a reason. So Tapmane definitely is still nowhere to be found. Our peace ambassadors, this is actually the spokesperson for Promise Mukwananzi for Citizen Coalition for Change. He said Tapmane Masaya of Mavuk was abducted on Saturday by suspected security agents. Our peace ambassadors have been tirelessly searching for him since then, but he remains unfound. We demand the immediate release of Tapmane. And I also speak, we demand, young people, murikuzvipa mamepo nisina basa. Vanhu vamuri kuabduct ava, they are mature enough to be your parents. Why do you do what you're doing? I understand our society is broken, but some of the things, guys, you need to play your games smart. Because, guys, this whole season will pass. Very soon things are going to be changed. And what are you going to do when you're in the midst of such chaos? When you now look back and say, is this my legacy? Is this the life that I lived? When you now think there's some people that you were hurting, how are you going to feel? Guys, don't. Even if you're poor, I remember this woman that I respected dearly from Gutu during the time of the elections. She was called to be given $1,000 to give up her seat as a councillor. She said, I cannot. We are talking about someone who's principled. Honestly, we are where we are today because our society is becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. We need to start building a very strong community that exalting principles. Guys, principles reign supreme. It's very important for us to understand that if we don't respect the rules, nothing will work. We'll keep roaming around the circle until we stop taking money from politicians to do their dirty work. We'll keep roaming around the circle. Stop taking money from politicians to do their dirty work. If they want to do dirty work, they must send their children. Because they're smart. Their kids are in America. You go and do their dirty work. But you and your family you are busy. But honestly, people are going to pay for that. They're not just going to escape. All these evildoers are not going to escape. The time is coming where they have to pay for their sins. That should be known. All right, now we are going to be talking about something very sensitive, but I want you guys to stick around for a reason. You saw a video that circulated, right? When this Zimbabwean guy who had on a podcast spoke so vile against our people. But I want you to stick around because it's very, very crucial. I'm definitely going to cover this story so proudly because I want us to fix our society. Whoa, the guy, he said things that was very painful. Take a listen, please.
Understood. I punches you just under the armpit. Just because I've been around, like I'm in South Africa right now. I've never smelled a South African's armpit and felt like, man. Do you know what I mean? Like it's Swaziland, Botswana, whatever.
Is it not because it's like very, very hot?
No.
But it's hot. But then like then it would change if you came here, would it not?
Yeah, it would change.
So do people eat a lot of acha? Acha.
Acha's not a thing, is it?
I've smelled a family, like they were I was like, oh, bro.
Father, mother, and children.
Everyone. I'm like,
Never understood.
I punches you just under the armpit.
Just because I've been around, like I'm in South Africa right now. I've never smelled a South African's armpit and felt like, man.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like it's...
This is really quite a very painful submission. Very, very painful submission. This guy is a Zimbabwean guy, is a comedian, who literally said that Zimbabwean smells. He said, I've never met a South African that smiles. Really? My South Africans are not guys on my bucket. Don't you dare. Don't you try. But let me be honest with you guys, because you're my family. Okay, very important. There are so many reasons, but before I proceed and give my comments on it, I just want to read a tweet that was sent out by Nick Mangwana on the very same issue. I'm talking about Nick Mangwana, the spokesperson in the president's office, Nick Mangwana. He said one day our people will understand that when they say negative things about their country, they're saying negative things about themselves, and the bigots will latch onto it and make a meal out of it. Do Zimbabweans stink? No. Are Zimbos hydrophobic? No. Bigotry is ignorance. This is Nick Mangwana. Okay, Mr. Nick Mangwana, shout out to you. Shout out. You are the reason why we are in this predicament. You better don't try to play saint. You are the reason we are in this predicament. Our people are being disrespected all over the world. I saw another video, very disturbing video yesterday, of an old man in the United Kingdom who went to, this guy was driving his car, and it started saying to him, give me your phone, I need to send a text. And the guy was like, no, get out of my car. He said, give me your phone, I need to send out a text. And the guy kept on saying, leave me alone. You know what? He got so angry because you Zimbabweans, yeah, he said very ugly words. We are where we are today because of ZANU-PF. So don't try to play a saint here, Mr. Nick Mangwana. We are where we are today, Zimbabweans, because of ZANU-PF. Let that be known. ZANU-PF are our brothers. This political party and their systems that are wicked. I heard something so interesting, and I'll say this. Honestly, if ZANU-PF was managing this country well, if they were treating our people with respect, if they were suing corrupt officials, if they were not sponsoring violence, I don't think we would even have a problem with them leading the country. It's that simple. We are in this predicament because we are saying, because of your actions, we rather try someone else as a leader. So I hope you understand good. There's no hatred there. It's your actions. Mabasa and you are one of the reasons why people are saying we are tired. We rather have a different leader. Not because we hate each other. So for you to even come in and condemn the guy, yes, he's a Zimbabwean guy who really put us on the map recklessly. What he said was wrong. Say all Zimbabwean smells. Don't you dare. But we must also understand that honestly, this is the truth. We need to also respect the fact that South Africans are just exposed to a certain lifestyle that we are not. And one thing that I know about South Africans that I've seen, even if they stay in Mukuku, you know, some Mukuku space, Mukuku, people can tell you kuti kana vachibura panzi vachina kumaclub kwa vanenge vakageza kuzwa vanogeza vanenge vakageza nyaya yemaroro on every man, a South African man, he may not have any other things. They respect maroro on so much. There is a point there which we don't have to ignore. We must make sure we are telling each other the truth. But you also find out that roll-on is very cheap. You can buy very cheap ones in PEP. Roll-ons are cheap everywhere. People can afford it. But can you compare with Zimbabwe? Understanding the situation in the country, can you compare with our people in Zimbabwe? I can only imagine a young man who come from the rural area, wiggle himself to come to Joburg, trying to pursue a better life. And he's earning maybe let's just say, assume he earns 1.5 rand. Yeah, maybe stays in a location where he's paying maybe 500 rand per room or sharing, whatever the case may be. And he's not thinking about people at home that he needs to feed. Where is he going to get the money to even consider a roll-on? He thinks that's a luxury. To most of Zimbabwe, it's a luxury. And most of my brothers work very, 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 very hard jobs. They are doing construction, doing gardeners. Very humble, most of our family members, our brothers and our cousins and people that we love. Zimbabwe is my people, my brothers that I love. Every Zimbabwean is my family. They do very, very humble jobs. And for that reason, they walk to get to Texas to go back to their homes. So you can't come and start thinking that when they're walking, they've been working all day long. Now they're walking, going to the Texas. Some even walk back home if the distance is not bad, even when it's long. We can attest that even when we're in Zimbabwe, we used to see our parents walking to go to work, to industries. It's not new. When are we, as you, Mr. Mangwana, and your government, going to take full responsibility for all the ills that are going down in the country and the blanket of shame that we have already been moving around with? Zimbabweans across the world, they are shackled, notwithstanding the kind of job that you're doing. I have a friend of mine who's an engineer, qualified engineer. One day said this to me, he said, Rumika, I can't even walk on the corridor because of how shameful it is to don't want to tell Zimbabweans. Until we take full responsibility and the government allows us to fix our country and make the country conducive for people to stay, we must never open our mouth and begin to bash countries for how they're treating us. We have to fix this country if we want to see things working. So, Mr. Mangwana, take full responsibility, you and your government, that we are in this predicament, in this mess because of you. Why can you allow us to build our country? Why do you allow an avenue to loot monies from the country? We know that even in South Africa, there's a lot of money. You heard most of the politicians say there's a lot of money that is actually starved here, Zimbabwean money. That if they're going to be allowed to take that money to take it back to the country, what more do you want? Dubai, Europe, there's a lot of money. Edicross alleging that Grace Mugabe is a billionaire and the money is in Europe. Central report showed how much money you're looting from the country. The gold mafia, you name it, nothing. We talk about the gold mafia. What about chrome mafia? What about lithium mafia? What about Marange Diamond? Marange Diamond, $15 million disappeared of Marange Diamond. This money should be catering for people so they can understand that we can actually buy a roll on. So don't act as if you don't know why we are in this mess. You and your government, Mr. Mangwana, should take full responsibility of where we are today. But you know what? There's always been a brother's keeper and a sister's keeper. Again, never must I say my brother, Window Cables Network, that's how he calls him, so-called in court. He said, much as the armpit slayer was highly provocative, a similar concern is widely shared. This side too, let us use just a bit of apple cider vinegar in bath water and simply add a bit of soda and normal vinegar. Very effective. It takes away all the armpit's bad odor. And also you can get like those, those small little, shaving machines. Like you can get the whole packet money very cheap in shops, 20 maybe pockets you can get from Clicks, you can get Discam. Let's try, as my brothers and sisters, honestly, let's try to live with other people in the society. Listen, I'm not a person who's ashamed of my life, but we must also not forget that some people that you may say they may have an order, they're not having an order because they don't bath. Some people actually have a disease that may need attention of a dermatologist. So if you can afford, please take them there and pay on their behalf. Stop just blaming people. There are so many people that have challenges out there that you don't even know. So before you start blaming, make sure you get your fix right. I would like you guys to drop your location because I can see people coming through. Drop your location. I want to send you some love. People are sharing. Please make sure that you share some remedies here. What else can you use for you not to have bad odor as they're talking about? What else can we use? Some people, natural remedies that they can actually help our brothers and help our sisters. Let's be a brother and a sister's keeper. It's very important and it is crucial. Nothing embarrassing. Let's be each other's keeper. So, Mr. Mangwana, take full responsibility of the nonsense that's going down in the country. You and your government, you are the reason why we're in this mess. We ask you to respect the will of the people. Now that the leaders, the elders are in Zimbabwe, I'm asking you for one thing. I'm asking you to allow them to at least guide you. Some people are saying we are worried because we know this regime don't listen to anybody. But, those kind of people that in families, vanozi havagonekwe nevanhu vanongoti vanozokwanisa kuzodzika chete kana zvinhu zvavapisa munoziva nevavo. Those family members that no one can rebuke them. So some people are alleging that that's who our people are. But one thing that I've seen, based on what I watched over my 40 years of being in this world, from the time that I was able to understand, let me just be honest with you, those people who are adamant, their end is always be very shameful and embarrassing. When you in life, you must always someone that you submit yourself to. That kind of hey, you're going to stop and say, I'm sorry. You need to submit yourself to someone in life. You can't be a person who no one can tell me anything. No, you're just heading for danger. So let these elders come in. Let's see what they say. So my they are saying it's ati who's going remember you are heading for danger. Don't say we didn't warn you. So what is that? It's a lie. If you went into SADC for a reason, you invited SADC to monitor the poor for a reason. Let them help you. Let them lead you. Let them guide you. When you are wrong, vumai kutsiurwa. It's okay. It does not make you less of human. It's normal. All of us here, including me. Let me just tell you, I was actually disciplined at the age of 21. You know, when I turn at 21, you think you're better than, like I got, 21, you're getting a key. My mama, whom I love, had brought me this cupboard of, biscuits and say, happy birthday, 21st birthday, and all things that she had done. And poor Kim on, you know what, I think now better than everybody else, I can live my life. I can do my thing. But, my daddy being the man that he was, I said, my child, I'm your father still. I'm always going to be your daddy. At the age of 21, I was moored in Harare by my father. So for me, you must always subject yourself to someone. So, no matter how far I am, and my father can be far from me, but I still honor and respect his leadership. You must always subject yourself to somebody's leadership. It doesn't make you less of a human being. It's wisdom. Wisdom is profitable to direct. I am who I am today because of counsel. We must understand as a country that we need our brothers, we need our sisters, we need the counsel. Let's fix this country. Again, I ask you a question. What do you prefer? Government of national unity, transitional government, or you would prefer fresh poll? But I also know that transitional government on its own is actually leading us to a fresh poll. So more or less, because even if they can say there's going to be a fresh poll, there's no way we can wake up and say fresh poll on us. And it's going to be a process. We're going to plan, we're going to work together and see how we can fix our country. Very important right there. We need to fix Zimbabwe. All right, guys, that's all I have for you right now. I'm going to land right here and show you some love. I love you so much. And I'll see you exactly at 2 p.m. I'll be back with our next show. I love you. And also in the evening, for those that may be busy, I'll see you a little bit later. I'll be back again. I love you all. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.